So this is what your CER organizer looks like. I am just going to go back into my assignment on Canvas, and I'm literally going to copy the question, how does Newton's first law apply to the state of motion of objects we interact with every day? When we say every day, it has to be the objects you interacted with in the lab. I'm going to take the claim as well and copy that into the claim in my CER. And I'm going to remove this part of it. So it's Newton's first law that an object stays at rest and objects in motion stay in motion when forces are balanced. Balanced meaning that there are no larger forces acting on an object to make it move forward or accelerate or to slow it down and stop an already moving object. The state of motion only changes when a net force is applied. Okay, so we are going to play a couple of videos. These are example videos that are not going to be used in your CER, but to give you an idea of what I'm looking for in terms of evidence and reasoning. We are going to start with the shopping cart disaster. And let me replay this for you. Or let me play this for you. And we will write down our observation. I don't know why all these tabs are here. I really love this video because you can see all the shock in everyone's faces, and I love the rock music that's playing in the background because it is probably how they are feeling in that moment when they realize they have to pick up all those carts. So let's go back to the CER organizer. So I want you to notice evidence is always data or observation. In this case, for our Newton's first law lab, we didn't collect any data. We just made a bunch of observations. So what we're going to type in is the observation we made in this video. Before you do that, I want you to make sure that when you type out your observation, that you really think about how that observation can prove your claim. And you don't want to mention the claim in the evidence, but you just want to make sure that as you describe what you saw and what you observed, you can tie that back into the claim when you type out your reasoning. So something like this would be appropriate. The shopping carts stored in the back of a truck fell out when the truck moved forward. That is all I have to write in terms of observation. You don't have to talk about the carts being at rest. You don't have to talk about anything about friction or wheels or anything like that. You just write out what you observe. The reasoning goes into how this observation ties back to the claim using scientific ideas, concepts, and principles. So I could tie it in by saying the shopping carts were at rest, and when the truck moved forward, there were no outside forces like friction acting on the cart. Therefore, the carts stayed at rest and fell out of the truck when it moved forward. So this is a really good reasoning because it takes the evidence, the fact that the shopping carts fell out of the truck, and related it back to the shopping carts being at rest and staying at rest because there were no outside forces acting on it. So this would be an appropriate reasoning statement, and you can close it by saying, this proves Newton's first law that objects at rest stay at rest. Okay, the next video is going to be bowling ball versus car. Let me restart it.
That was a bad idea.
Okay, so for this video, we want to look at our claim and say, what observation can we make that relates to this claim? Well, there were a lot of objects in motion, the car and the bowling ball, so we can relate it to objects in motion stay in motion. So let's think about how we would want to word our evidence to make sure it connects back to our reasoning. So let's think about what we observed. We saw the bowling ball. The bowling ball was launched from a moving car, and during its trajectory, that's the path of its flight, it lands on top of the car. So all we're doing, it landed on top of the car. So all we're doing is we are stating what we observed. We don't want to mention anything about object in motion, staying in motion, or anything like that. That goes back to our reasoning. So here we want to tie our bowling ball to an object in motion, staying in motion. So we can say something like this, or even the car, because the car was in motion as well. So the ball and car were in motion and stayed in motion, resulting in the bowling ball continuing in the same speed as the car. This caused the ball to land on top of the car as it was pulled down by gravity. I always like to close it with, this proves Newton's first law that objects in motion stay in motion. So this is basically the type of thing you want to put into your CER. You want to add, you want to have 3 pieces of evidence and 3 pieces of reasoning. Sometimes the reasoning is going to be the same. You might have different objects, but you could just relate them to the fact that they're both moving objects that stay in motion. When you submit your CER, you have to turn this into a nice cohesive paragraph. So always start with your claim at the beginning, and then follow it up with evidence, reasoning, and then if you want to, you can even do an overall concluding statement. There is, on the back of this CER, you received a pink laminated worksheet or laminated page where on the back you have some sentence structures that will allow you to kind of put together a really well written, very intelligent, nicely flowing CER paragraph. So let me know if you have any questions. Do your very best. And again, if you do not get the grade you want on your first attempt, you always have a second attempt to turn it in. I will always provide feedback once you submit it. If I have any, uh, if there were any issues or misconceptions, and then you can resubmit it within a week for full credit. So good luck. Contact me if you have any questions, and I am happy to help.